Welcome to Nightfall Story Lounge, your nightly escape into romance, mystery, comedy, and sweet dreams.
Kevin arrived early. The service wasn't scheduled to begin until 11, but he needed the quiet, the kind that only exists before people arrive with their grief and questions and well-meaning condolences. He pulled into the lot just before 10, the funeral home standing still and solemn against the morning light. Peace never lingered for long. His mother was already there. Of course she was. She moved through the space with purpose, directing the staff with gentle authority, adjusting details no one else would notice but her. She spotted him almost immediately and crossed the room, wrapping him in a firm hug that lingered just a second longer than usual. "Just sit, Kevin," she said softly. "Everything will go smoothly." He kissed her cheek and did as he was told, sliding into the reserved family row. Aunt Margo never married, never had children. She used to say her heart belonged to one person and one person only, and no one else would do. She'd said it so matter-of-factly that eventually everyone stopped asking. She'd been certain, unmoved. He stared ahead, lost in thought, barely registering the room filling around him. Deuce appeared beside him at some point, pulling him into a hug.
"Welcome home, little brother."
Kevin didn't flinch at the word this time. He just let it sit. The service began before he realized the pews were full. It was beautiful. There were tears, laughter, stories that made the loss feel heavier and lighter all at once. When it ended, everyone moved to a larger gathering area, more space, more air, less pressure. Kevin stood beside Deuce while he spoke to a distant cousin. Kevin's gaze stayed low, unfocused. That's when he heard heels, not hurried, not tentative, measured, confident. He looked up, and there she was. Alchemy Smith, if that was still her last name. His breath caught before he could stop it. She met his eyes with a soft, sad smile, one that carried more than sympathy. There was recognition there, familiarity. Something quietly charged beneath the surface. She didn't hesitate. She stepped forward and hugged him.
Kevin,
Kim.
I'm so sorry for your loss.
She said gently.
Ms. Margo was one of a kind. She felt like family to me.
The air tightened.
She really was.
He replied. His voice came out steadier than he felt.
"Thank you for coming. It's good to see you."
He added before he could reconsider.
"You look great."
Something flickered across her face. Surprise, warmth, something unspoken. A faint blush. Then composure slid back into place like armor.
Thank you.
She said. She handed him a card. Their fingers brushed. The contact was brief, but it landed hard.
Call me
She said.
so we can get together later.
His heart was racing now. He hated that she could probably hear it.
"I'll call this evening
He said, clearing his throat.
to schedule something."
Good.
She stepped back.
I won't keep you. I'm sure others want to see you.
She turned and walked away, leaving behind the faint scent of vanilla and musk. Kevin watched her go. He couldn't help it. Deuce elbowed him lightly.
You good, man?
Kevin looked away.
"Yeah, I'm fine."
Deuce followed his gaze, then smirked.
She's still single, you know.
Kevin shot him a look sharp enough to end the conversation. Deuce just laughed and walked off.
Still in denial.
He called over his shoulder. Kevin didn't respond. Ballard appeared next, hugging him tightly.
Did you get taller?
He laughed, grateful for the normalcy, asked how she'd been, thanked her for coming. The day blurred after that. Food, conversations, fading voices. When it finally slowed, Kevin checked on his parents, said his goodbyes, and drove back to the house. Aunt Margot's house, his house. And for the first time that day, he allowed himself to wonder what that crossing meant, and whether that crossing was something he wasn't ready to name yet. The house greeted Kevin with silence. Not the uncomfortable kind, the settled kind, the kind that felt earned after a day heavy with grief and people and memories. He dropped his keys into the ceramic bowl Aunt Margo always used, the soft clink echoing louder than it should have. He stood there for a moment, coat still on, shoes untouched. Then he exhaled. The couch creaked as he sank into it, exhaustion settling into his bones. His body felt like it had been carrying more than weight all day, emotion, expectation, familiarity he hadn't realized he missed. He reached into his pocket, Chem's card. Alchemy Smith, Esquire, estate planning and probate law. Of course, it made sense. Too much sense. She probably helped Aunt Margo with her estate. The timing, the professionalism, the way she'd handed it to him, measured, calm, appropriate. Call me so we can get together later. That could have meant paperwork, logistics, legal next steps. It should have meant that. Kevin leaned back, running both hands down his face.
You're reading into it.
He muttered.
It's business.
Still, it hadn't felt like business. The hug, the look, the way her voice softened when she said his name, the way his chest tightened when their hands touched. He shook his head, pushing the thought aside. Not now. He stood, heading toward the kitchen. The fridge hummed quietly as he opened it and grabbed a beer, the bottle cool against his palm. He twisted the cap off and took a long pull, the familiar bitterness grounding him. Music. That's what he needed. He scrolled until he found an old playlist. Slow jams, early 2000s R&B. Songs he hadn't listened to in years but somehow still knew by heart. The room filled with smooth vocals and soft beats, the kind that made you slow down whether you wanted to or not. Kevin leaned against the counter, sipping his beer. So much to figure out. A job, the house, Aunt Margo's estate. He walked through the living room, letting his eyes travel over the space. The photos, the furniture, the small touches that made the house hers. And now, somehow, his. One thing at a time, Kev. He finished the beer and headed for the bathroom, peeling off the day as the shower steamed up the room. Hot water hit his shoulders, loosening muscles he hadn't realized were tense. He stayed longer than necessary. When he finally stepped out, the mirror caught him. Hair damp, expression softer, more tired than he cared to admit. He pulled on silk pajamas he'd found neatly folded in the guest room drawer. Another Aunt Margo detail. She always thought of everything. Back in the bedroom, he sat on the edge of the bed and reached into his pocket again. Kim's card. He turned it over once, twice.
It's just business.
He said out loud, as if the room needed convincing.
That's all.
He picked up his phone. No need to overthink it. Just a call. A simple call. Kevin stared at the screen for a moment longer than necessary. Then he unlocked it.